Kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1659, Expecting the Unexpected. Now, I know I am on early, but I have another call I have to be on in like 10 minutes. I can go a little bit over, but it's not going to be our usual long length of a thing. So expect the unexpected. So first of all, so as of yesterday, if you were watching yesterday, you heard that was it Tuesday we talked about it, where I hadn't been feeling my full super fantastic sparkling self, and I got myself back into that mode again, and I had to change it. It has been a game changer. Last night I didn't get to bed till 1 o'clock this morning, and so I put on another one of those meditation things that help you sleep, and I woke up, so 1:30 when I finally went to sleep. I woke up around 2:30. The thing was still going, and it was a 23-minute meditation, and I'm like, what the heck's going on here? So got up, went to the bathroom, came back and turned it off, and it had 4 minutes left on the next track. So it had automatically done the 23-minute meditation and gone on to the next one. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll just turn that one off. And then I was awake at 5 o'clock this morning. So I had less than 4 hours of sleep. Well, less than 4 hours of sleep, probably closer to 3. But I woke up fully energized, positive mood, for a heart full of gratitude, ready to rock and roll. And then we went down and we got the sunset. We got the sunrise coming this morning. So if you look on my profile on TikTok, you'll see the video there. If you look on Facebook, my reel and my story is there. And also it's on YouTube as well. And it's a 30-second video just watching the sunrise. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous out there this morning. And it was just really, really pretty. I'm actually being watched right now. Hey, sweetie girl. I gave her a treat this afternoon, which is a piece of dental rawhide. And she decided she didn't want to chew it straight away. She wants to save it for later while it cures. And so it gets tucked under my leg on the chair. That's her safe place. Well, it's not there right now and she can't find it. But if she goes out to the family room and looks on the couch that she uses, it's tucked away in her blanket underneath one of her pillows there. And so she'll find it real easy there. And if she follows her nose, she'll find it. But she's going to have to wait for a bit. So, and then I got an unexpected surprise where something that normally happens on Friday actually occurred today. And I was super surprised about that. But it threw me off for the rest of the day because I kept thinking today was Friday instead of Thursday. And so I've been out of whack the entire day because something that happens on Friday actually happened a day earlier, which it was to my benefit that it happened a day earlier. So I'm super stoked about that. But it completely threw my day off because I kept thinking it was Friday, not Thursday. And I had to keep reminding myself this is not Friday. Yeah, it's Thursday today. Thursday today, isn't it? Yeah. Did I just say it was Friday? Oh, cheapers. See, it's mucking up with my brain. What can I say? So then we went for our evening, and then my business mentor reminded me that there was this call that he's doing tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I said, you do realize that's when I normally do my live. And he wants me on the call. And so I thought, well, we'll come on just a few minutes earlier and say hi to you guys, get the live in for the day. And then I'll go hop on his one and do what he needs me to do over there. So welcome. So, there's times that things will happen, things will come up, and you just got to learn to adapt and change. There's 3 things in life that are definite: change, taxes, and death. Those 3 are definitely going to happen and you can't escape them. So what do you do when things unexpectedly happen? Embrace it. Embrace it. And maybe it might be to your benefit, it may not be. But your mindset is going to determine how you're going to move forward from that point onwards. You won't move on, you'll move forward. So if somebody turns around and says like tonight, and I'm sort of like, oh my gosh, I got to take the dog for a walk. Then I got to go get Zeffie some dog food because I totally forgot to get it yesterday because she was out this morning for the last for breakfast. And then he wants me to come, and then I've got to come back and do my live at 6. And then he wants me to get on this thing that's at 6 o'clock as well. And that goes for 90 minutes. So it means it's 8:30 before I haven't even had dinner yet. So you just adapt and change. And so while we're out walking, and of course, when I'm on, and I got a call while I was out walking Zeffie, and normally I don't answer the phone, but it was this distinctive ring that is tied to one person. And so I answered it, and he asked me if I could come on, and I says, yep. Meanwhile, Zeffie knows that I'm distracted because I am on the phone. So what does she do? She's off on another planet. We've started our normal routine evening walk. She decides instead of going right at that place, we're going to go to the left. And we almost ended up down where we watched the sunrise each morning. And so once I got off the phone, I rounded her up and we went. And then she got to meet this cute little 2-year-old. This little 2-year-old was just adorable. She had these heart-shaped pink sunglasses. She was just the cutest thing and thought Zeffie was wonderful. And Zeffie was like wanting to get all over her because Zeffie loves kids, absolutely loves kids. And if we're out walking and she suddenly hears kids noises, she will freeze and she will tune her ears into where it's coming from. And then she turns her head to see if she can see the kids and see what's going on. Are they okay? Very protective little girl, this one. Yes, I'm talking about you. She's sitting here with rapt attention, just her eyes completely on me. I wish I could show you guys. He was so cute. You know that? Yes. She has these brown eyes, which are almost amber. An amber tint to them. And so that kind of delayed us getting in. So then, of course, when we got back home, I suddenly remembered, oh, yeah, the tire pressure light's on. So then I had to pump the tires up before we could get in the car. So it's just all these little things just happening and you just roll with it. And it's just sort of like, that's okay. At least now I know the tires they're pumped up. They're at the right pressure and everything else. It's going to be safer for us to be driving on the road with our tires at the correct pressure. It's going to be more steady with the steering and everything. It's all good. And so we then went over to PetSmart and found her food very quickly. Normally it takes us a while because I can never remember which aisle it's in. So we found food for her really quickly. And of course, when we get to PetSmart, the way to keep her under orders because I get a 20 to 27 pound bag of food for her. So trying to direct a cart while having her on the leash next to me, who likes to sniff everything and pee everywhere when we're in PetSmart. Before we even go in, I pick her up, I put her in the cart, we go straight to where we need to go. I put the bag of food in there with her, was straight up to the counter. And tonight she was very talkative to the other people that were standing in front of us at the checkout. But you just got to roll with the punches. When they happen, it's, pause, assess, where's your mind at, and then figure out what to do next. It's as simple as that. When the unexpected happens. If you're traveling, oh my gosh. So I always tell people, I says, now, you can either go and have the perfect vacation and come back and forget it, a few months later and maybe remember little bits and pieces of it. I said, if something goes wrong while you're on that vacation, well, not wrong, but your flight might be delayed. You may miss a flight connection. The ship is late leaving a port, or, anything can happen on, your tour bus breaks down and they've got to get you back to port so you can catch a cruise ship, all sorts of things will happen. I said, what happens with that trip? Are you going to remember the one that was perfect, the best, or are you going to remember the one that had the adventure? And that's when I tell people when they say, oh, this happened, they start bitching and moaning about their vacations ruined because this happened. All that. Things are going to happen when you're on vacation, especially if you're going to different countries and things like that. You may get to the hotel and they don't have a copy of your reservation. That is what your travel professional is there for. They're there to assist you when these things come up. So pick up the phone and call them. I encourage my clients to call me. I have all of their information there for them. It's all printed out as well as an electronic copy. So they have everything. So if for some reason they don't have Wi-Fi service wherever they are, they at least have a hard copy of their itinerary with the contact telephone numbers on there and everything else. So they are good to go. Now, and so the one that you remember the most is where something didn't quite go right. You had the unexpected happen. And now all of a sudden, that's the one. And when it comes to talking about your vacations and where you've been, which is the one you're going to remember the most and talk about the most? It is going to be the one that had the unexpected happen on it, where it didn't quite go so perfectly, but you remember that one because it didn't go perfect. And that's the one that you talk about. It's the one you look back and laugh at. You can, and they say, oh, well, have you been? And, oh, yes, we went there. It was lovely. That was your perfect vacation. Well, have you been here? Yes. Oh, let me tell you what happened when we were there. Da, 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 and off you go on this big story and telling it. And the way you're telling the story is that you're telling it in a way that they're laughing along with it. And now that adventure, at the time it was annoying you and driving you crazy because things were going wrong and you didn't know what to do and everything else and blah, 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 blah. But when you get back home and the adventure and the trip that you talk about is the one where something unexpected happened, because now you have a story to tell. Now you've had an adventure. And we've had lots of adventures. Like when we went to do the Christmas market cruise, everything was going fine. Our flights were all on time. We got to Prague, flew into Prague from Frankfurt, and we went LA to Denver, Denver to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Prague. And we found the representative for the river cruise, and we got with them. They put us on the bus with our bags to take us to hotel. And they said, we're just waiting for one more cabin to be joining. And we're like, okay. And on the drive from the airport into Prague, this person who was also a travel person, travel agent, she turns around, advisor, they call them now. She's turning around and telling us how sick she has been for the last few days and didn't think she was going to make this trip. And she said, even on the plane, she said, I didn't eat anything. I couldn't keep anything down. And I'm like, on the plane? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like thinking in my head, what the hell are you doing on this bus? And when we got in, so we got to the hotel, we had the 2 nights in Prague. We did the day tour and everything else. We got to see the Christmas markets there. Absolutely awesome. Love Christmas markets. Then we got onto the ship, and we left. We got on the ship in Nuremberg. They bussed us down to Nuremberg, where we got onto the ship. The next day, we're meant to be in Ravensburg, which is one place I absolutely wanted to see. I was looking at that, turning out, I've got to go, because it's the city is the town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's set up like it was in medieval times. And I'm like, back in school in New Zealand, one of our social studies was during that time period when that town was built. So I had always been interested in the medieval period because I'd heard so much about it when we were in school. And now I could go see an entire village that was built in that period and still looks like that today. I was like stoked. Yeah, for me, it didn't happen. For other people, it did. I woke up in the middle of the night with vomiting and diarrhea, courtesy of the person on the bus. We ended up with half of the crew and passengers on that river cruise came down with a 24-hour stomach flu because of this one person who, rather than canceling her trip like she should have been responsible and canceling her trip like she should have, decided to put everybody on the ship at risk. We even had, at one evening, we pulled over. This is one thing about river cruises. We just pulled over to the nearest jetty that was sticking out. They came across a jetty. We pulled over there. An ambulance came and had to take a gentleman to hospital because he was so bad with the vomiting and the diarrhea. And they joined us back on the cruise ship a day or two later. But it was confirmed it was a 24-hour stomach flu. It wasn't norovirus. It was a 24-hour stomach flu. And so I miss seeing Regensburg, and I still have to go back and re-see it. And I missed the next day. We were in Malk. We were in Malk the next day. And what was really fun is I was feeling better the next day, but just not up to doing any walking. And so Brad was going into Malk, and there was we'd met on the first night on the cruise, which happened to be my birthday. We met these 2 other couples. And it turned out that one of the other couples, her wife had the same birthday as me. We're 15 years apart. So both of us were on milestone birthdays, which was really, really cool. And later on, and they bring out this cake with this Roman candle firework in there and everything else. And we found out later that when they're doing the cakes, they actually call up to the bridge, and the bridge turns off the water sprinkler system because of these Roman firework candles. And then and the maitre d' had asked the cruise manager, where are our birthday people sitting? She says, you're not going to believe this. They're at the same table. So they was like, well, that's really easy. So they brought out Mo's cake first, and then they brought out mine second. And Sue, who was the other one, turns around and says, oh my gosh, how, talking about coincidences. And so when we were in Malk that day, Mo's husband and Sue's husband were also down with this 24-hour stomach flu. And I was feeling better and had passed the contagious stage. So I was sitting out in the main lounge area, catching up on my writing and journaling and blogging and everything. And so Brad went with the 2 women into Malk, and they reminded him and helped him pick out postcards and fridge magnets. Because whenever I do my souvenirs, it's postcards of the area or the activity that we went to, and a fridge magnet that reminds me of that particular place. And the one we got for this one was the Abbey, because they've got a really cool Abbey in Malk. And so Brad took lots of pictures, and Sue and Mo reminded him to get the postcard and magnets and then helped him choose them. So we had this unexpected thing where I was sick for a couple of days and I missed the bus trip down to Salzburg, which was another one I really wanted to do. where they filmed The Sound of Music. That was one of my things I wanted to go see. I was like, yes. So I had actually booked that excursion, but didn't get to. Oh, no, Hank was on that excursion that day. That's right. So Hank was on that excursion, and Kurt was the one that was, Sue's husband was the one that was sick. But, you know, the next day I'm back on the bus, I'm back out doing everything else and all of that sort of stuff. So, you know, we just rolled with the punches, and it is what it is. And that's, you know, it's going to, things are going to happen, but it made that trip memorable. It made that trip memorable. So expect the unexpected in all things that you do. And just remember, it's your mindset will determine how you will react to that thing. You can either turn around and get really grumpy and get down in the dumps, and there goes all the good positive attitude and all the great gratitude and coming from a place of love, or you can accept it from a place of love that you are having this experience and be grateful you are having this experience, because any experience that you have helps you to learn and grow and become better and stronger because of it. So I've been through a lot of stuff over the last few years, and it's all helped me learn and grow. And I am grateful for every single thing that's happened in the last few years, especially with the almost 10 years with Brad, dealing with Brad's cancer. So we learned a lot during that time, an awful lot. We learned more about the human digestive system than I ever wanted to know. So anyway, with that, I got to fly. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. For those of you who joined us this evening, thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us. Sorry it was an earlier time than normal, but we will be back tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konera.